guess who's back? Back again. Mikey's back. Tell a friend. Hey everybody, here with another video for you guys today. And today we're going to be looking at the top 20 classic arcade games that are currently available on the iircade gaming cabinet. But before we go any further, let me just say, if you like this video or any other videos on my channel, please like, comment, and subscribe. And we'll be getting into the top 20 classic arcade games on the iircade after my intro, coming in here now. And at number 20, we have In the Hunt. Now, I included this game because it was created by the people that went on to make the Metal Slug games, and you can see the similar art style, so it's kind of like almost like a little prequel to Metal Slug, and so that's why I had to include this game in my list. And at number 19, we have Best Bout Boxing. This is an underrated sports game that is currently available here on the iircade system, and I think once the once the online comes and we can add 2 players, this game will be a lot of fun. And at number 18, we will have Shadow Dancer, the classic Sega Shinobi series game. And I know the Shinobi games tend to have a decent sized fan base, so I had to include Shadow Dancer here on my list. And then at number 17, we have R-Type. This is a classic side-scrolling shmup. I debated whether to put this one or R-Type 2 higher on the list, but to me R-Type 2 is the better game, but I still had to include the original, and that's why it is in at number 17. And then at number 16, we have Rage of the Dragons. And this is, I had to include this game because it was originally going to be a Double Dragon fighting game, but they couldn't acquire the license, so they had to kind of change it. But it is still a great Neo Geo style fighting game, and that's why I had to include it here on the list. And then at number 15, we have Shadow Force. And this is a fun beat-em-up, side-scrolling beat-em-up game that's kind of underrated, hidden gem kind of a game that's surprisingly good, and that's why I had to include it here on the list, because it is a good side-scrolling beat-em-up. And then number 14, I went with Dark Seal. And this game is kind of like Gauntlet-esque and Golden Axe mixed together a little bit. It's a lot of fun, and it's another one of those hidden gem kind of arcade games, and it's a great inclusion here on the iircade system, and that's why I had to include Dark Seal on the list. And then number 13, had to go with the classic Space Ace. There's not much left to say, so I'll just let you guys listen to them talk. And then at number 12, I went with Rastan. This is a fun kind of action, classic arcadey kind of side-scrolling game. I don't know, it's just a lot of fun to play. It's a fairly popular game historically, so I had to include Rastan. And then number 11, we have Thunder Zone. And this game is kind of a mix between Metal Slug and Contra, and it's got its own viewpoint, and it's kind of a unique spin and twist on the side-scrolling shooters like this. And you can actually get into vehicles, and it's actually a lot of fun to play. And so that's why I had to include this game on our list. It's definitely a good one. And at number 10, Strikers 1945. And you know, we had to have some of the shmups here on the list, And this is one of, if not the best shmup on the cabinet in my opinion, and so that's why we had to have some Strikers 1945 represented here on the top 20 list. And then number 9, Breaker's Revenge. Now, I actually decided for me that this is the best fighting game on the iircade system at the moment. I've had a lot of fun playing this game. It's kind of a Fatal Fury ripoff more than it's a Street Fighter clone. And once you understand that you're playing more of a Fatal Fury kind of style game, you can excel a lot more. And so that's why I had to include Breaker's Revenge here on the list. And then number 8, Dragon's Lair 2 Time Warp. And again, as with Space Ace, I'll just shut up and let you guys listen.
Spirited away to a wrinkle in time by the evil wizard Mordroc, Daphne will be forced to marry the wicked Mordroc unless Dirk can save her.
Kidnapped? My Daphne kidnapped again? Idiot! Don't cough! You better fight my...
And at number 7, we have the classic Burger Time. Now, you know this game was going to be included on the list, and in my opinion, this is the best classic old school arcade game that is currently available on the iircade system. And it's a lot of fun to play, and that's why we had to include Burger Time here on the list. And at number 6, I went with R-Type 2. And as I said earlier, one of these games was going to be high up on my list, but I actually prefer R-Type 2 over R-Type 1, and so that's why I included it higher up on the list. Both games are, of course, great, but again, I think R-Type 2 is a little bit better than R-Type 1. And then at number 5, I went with Night Slashers. Now this is really a hidden gem side-scrolling beat-em-up game that if you haven't played, you really need to do yourself a favor and download it and play it immediately. Because this, I mean, it might be... If Double Dragon wasn't on this cabinet, this would absolutely be the best side-scrolling beat-em-up game on the iircade. You know, classic ones anyways. And then at number 4, we have Windjammers. And you knew this game was going to be high up on the list. I know a lot of people say it's just basically a Pong ripoff, and I guess there is a little bit of truth to that, but it actually, the way it changes up everything, and when we get 2 players online, I think Windjammers is going to be a big hit, and so that's why we had to include it here on the list. And then number 3, Double Dragon 2 The Revenge. Now, this game, I could actually make a case for it being the best Double Dragon game of all time. The only reason I wouldn't put it up higher is because of the control scheme. They changed the control scheme up on Double Dragon 2 over the original. That's why I do think the original is the better game. But having said that, Double Dragon 2 does everything better besides the controls than Double Dragon 1. So that's why I had to have it high up on the list. And then at number 2, we have Dragon's Lair.
A fantasy adventure where you become a valiant knight on a quest to rescue the fair princess from the clutches of an evil dragon. You control the actions of a daring adventurer finding his way through the castle of a dark wizard who has enchanted it with treacherous monsters and obstacles. In the mysterious caverns below the castle, your odyssey continues against the...
And at number 1, we have Double Dragon. And you knew this game was going to be either number 1 or number 2. How could it not be? But I don't think people give enough credit to Double Dragon. It kind of created the side-scrolling beat-em-up genre. And I know Final Fight tends to get a lot of glory, and you could definitely make a case that Final Fight is the better game. But Double Dragon is the granddaddy of them. It created the genre, it made it popular, and it is an all-time arcade classic. And we have to put some respect on Double Dragon. Well, there it is, folks. That is my list of the 20 best classic arcade games that are currently available on the iircade system. Now, put down in the comments the ones that I missed, but if you're going to do that, tell me which one on the list you would take off and put in its place. Don't just give me a bunch of games and say, well, these are the ones I'd pick. No, no, no. Do some homework and tell me which ones you would remove and then which ones you would add. But anyways, that is my video for today. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.